Okay, so now that we've made our keyhole, we're going to focus on making the part of the hanger that goes around the keyhole and creates the space where the head of the screw can go. So to do this, we're going to make a rectangle, and then we're going to use the fillet tool to round it off. So back in my sketch, now if you have clicked out of your sketch, remember you need to right click on one of the sketch icons and go edit sketch. So you're back in the sketch. You know you're in the sketch if you have the green finish sketch arrow up here and the sketch palette over here. So to start off with our triangle, we're going to get the line tool and we're going to make sure it is anchored to the top line of the frame we've already made. And we're going to draw it all the way up to the reference line that we made. And then we're going to draw another line tool, another line from the end of the first line, and we're going to make sure it connects back to the existing frame drawing. And you'll know you've got a closed shape when it fills in with the light blue. So now what we need to do is we need to add some measurements or dimensions. So we're going to use the sketch dimension tool. From now on, I'm just going to use the keyboard shortcut to do it. I'm going to click on the end of this line, and I'm going to click on where my reference line goes through the top of the existing frame, and I'm going to give this a dimension. Now I'm going to make it 22 centimeters. You can really, it's up to you, depending on your design, what dimensions you use, but 20 is a pretty good start, and you can see that one needs to get moved over a little bit more. Now, for some reason, these lines did not turn black, and so I have to figure out why not. And the reason is that even though I've told Fusion where the two ends of the triangle go, I haven't told it where the point goes. So I've got to go and get another sketch dimension. So now I'm going to click on the top of the triangle and the top of the existing frame. I might have to click on the top of the triangle. Let's do that again. I can see that I haven't got the sketch dimension tool, but now I do because I can see the icon beside my cursor. So I'm going to click on there and there, maybe there again, there we go. And I'm going to make that 35, I think. Okay, so I've got the outside of my triangle, but I still need to make the inside. So I need the two sides of the frame if I'm going to make the shape I want to make. So to do that, I'm going to go get the offset tool again, click on my triangle, and I'm going to drag it in. Now, we really want to make sure that it's about 5 millimeters thick. So if you don't have enough space on the inside to make it 5 millimeters thick, you'll need to think about resizing your keyhole a little bit, or maybe making your outside triangle a bit bigger. So there I've now got my frame here. So now we're going to try and round the edges. So rounding the edges can get a little bit tricky because a lot of these lines are connected to each other. So when I start trying to round these edges, it might end up affecting this shape. So what I'm going to try and do is isolate this shape a little bit more. So and the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try to clean this up because it's really hard to see with all these measurements. So over here in my sketch palette, I'm going to turn off my dimensions and I'm going to turn off my constraints. So now I can see a bit more what I'm working with. And I'm going to go get a new tool. It's called the trim tool. And this is a very useful tool because what this lets you do is it lets you cut off extra little bits that you don't want. Now you be careful with the trim tool because some of these constraints, the reason these lines are black is because Fusion is thinking, oh yeah, I know how all the parts are related. When you start deleting parts like this, all of a sudden some of the relationships break and you'll get warnings. For this project, I wouldn't worry about it too much. And what you really want to do is you just want to make sure that the internal triangular shape here that we're going to add fillets to is separate from the outside shape. So now we can go and add our rounded fillets. So I'm going to get my fillet tool. I'm going to start by rounding the outside of my shape, get it to a radius that I like, kind of like that. Let's go with 6.5. And now we're going to go and click fillet again, and now we're going to round the inside, and we're going to try and get it so it matches. Now you'll notice that the inside and outside radiuses are different because the inside triangle is a different size. So I think 1.5 is good for that. And now what I want is I want these other corners to match that. So what I can actually do is, before I accept this, if I just click on these other corners, it will add the same radius to all of them. So now I've got a nice smooth triangle. I think that'll do well. So we're going to go finish sketch. And the last step now is to extrude this. So the material we're using is 3 millimeters thick. So I can click on my extrude icon, and I can click on this shape, and I just need to pull it up 3 millimeters, and actually it says 3 millimeters, hit enter, and I have made my first hanger, and there's my mechanism. So those of you paying attention will notice there's a few more things we need to do, but this is good for the next tutorial.